What's up, y'all? It's your boy Ace. This is Fantasized Football. We are back once again, bringing y'all some more fantasy football content for the 2021 fantasy football season. And it's Tuesday, so of course, it is time for us to go through my waiver wire targets for week 6 of the fantasy football season. But before we get into that, real quick, wanted to give a shout out to each and every one of y'all that come by on a weekly basis, showing your boy some love and support, helping the channel to grow from the bottom of my heart. And honest to God, means the world to me. Thank you guys so very much. If you are new to the channel, welcome. Hello from me. Hello from my boy back here. I hope you do enjoy today's video. If you do at any point, make sure to leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Help me reach my goal of 500 subscribers on YouTube by the end of the fantasy football season. But like I alluded to before, we are here to go over my favorite waiver wire targets at every position. I got quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, tight ends, DST stream of the week, deep sleepers. What else could you really ask for? Hope you guys enjoyed football this weekend. You smashed it in your fantasy matchups and you're ready to do it all over again this week. But without further ado, let's kick it off. We got a lot to talk about today. And we're going to start off with my quarterback stream of the week, which is going to be Taylor Heinicke of the Washington football team, currently rostered in 12.3% of leagues. Now, Heinicke is coming off of a down week. But prior to that, from weeks 2 to 4, he was averaging 293 yards and 2.6 touchdowns per game. He has 40 or more rushing yards in the last 2 games as well, which is great to see because we love to see the quarterbacks with a bit of rushing upside as well. Now, coming up here in week 6, he's got a matchup against Kansas City. I expect this to be a game where Kansas City probably gets out to an early lead. There'll be a lot of passing volume due to the game script, which is obviously great for Taylor Heinicke and all the receivers and all the pass catchers in general for the Washington football team. Kansas City also has a soft secondary. This is another great thing for Heinicke and everyone else involved in this game. Kansas City has let up 300 or more yards or 3 touchdowns to quarterbacks in every single game this season. Every single freaking game this season. So if you're looking to stream the quarterback position this week in week 6, I would be looking at Taylor Heinicke of the Washington football team up against the Kansas City Chiefs this season. But moving on from quarterback, we're going to hop on over to the running back position. And the first player I want to talk about is Devonte Booker of the New York Giants, currently rostered in 3.8% of leagues. Now, Saquon Barkley got injured here in week 5. I believe it's a low ankle sprain. He's expected to miss 2 to 4 weeks, though. But Devonte Booker is set to be the main benefactor of Barkley missing time. He saw 20 opportunities last week after Barkley went out. 20 opportunities. He only totaled 58 total yards, but he did score 2 touchdowns. Even in this Giants offense that isn't the most potent offense, if you're going to get a running back that's going to be somewhere in that 15 to 20 opportunity a week type of range, that is a very, very valuable role for fantasy football. And it looks like Devonte Booker is set up to be this essentially the workhorse for this team going forward until Saquon Barkley returns. Now, he has a tough matchup against the Rams here in week 6, but then after that, he has Carolina, Kansas City, and Las Vegas coming up in the next 3. So if you need help at the running back position, or you kind of are just floating around there, like you don't really exactly need anything, Devonte Booker would be my top priority on the waiver wire this week for week 6. But if you can't get your hands on Devonte Booker and you need help at the running back position, the player I would be looking at is Daryl Williams of the Kansas City Chiefs, currently rostered in 7.6% of leagues. Don't know if I mentioned it actually. Let's backtrack a little bit. Go back a little bit here. Devonte Booker rostered in 3.8% of leagues. Back over to Daryl Williams, rostered in 7.6% of leagues. Now, like with Devonte Booker, Daryl Williams looks to be a main benefactor of an injury here because Clyde Edwards-Helaire of the Chiefs is expected to miss at least a couple of weeks coming up here, if not maybe a little bit more. Now, Daryl Williams is the guy that I expect to handle the majority of the groundwork for the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs have gotten off to a bit of a slow start, but we know this is a very potent offense, and this is a very valuable role that Daryl Williams is about to take on for this team. Now, he may cede some passing down work to Jerick McKinnon. We saw Jerick McKinnon in the game on some passing down situations. We'll get to that a little bit later on. Spoiler alert for the deep sleepers on Jerick McKinnon. But I expect Daryl Williams to be the guy that handles the majority of the early down work and the goal line work here for the Chiefs going forward. He has Washington and Tennessee in his next 2 weeks, both of which who allowed over 120 yards to running backs in week 5. So if you need help at the running back position, the 2 players I am prioritizing are Devonte Booker and Daryl Williams here in week 6 in that order. But moving on from the running back position, we're going to hop on over to the wide receiver position. And the first player I want to talk about is Cadarius Tony of the New York Giants, currently rostered in 12.2% of leagues. Now, I had Cadarius Tony in as one of my deep sleepers from last week. And this week, he's taken a step up. He made it into the main show here. He is no longer on the B show. He is on the A show here this week. He's had 22 targets for over 260 yards in these past 2 weeks. So I think he has solidified himself a role in this offense. Kenny Goldie got banged up in week 5. We know Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, both dealing with, I believe, hamstring issues, did not play in week 5. So we'll see. Maybe they're back. Even if they are back, if Kenny Goldie is going to miss time, I think we'll see Cadarius Tony on the field. Regardless, though, I think we're going to see a lot more of Cadarius Tony going forward. This is where we want to target rookies, right? Rookie wide receivers. It's getting to that time of year where you're going to want to pay a lot of attention to rookie wide receivers. They're starting to establish themselves in their respective offenses. And Cadarius Tony has taken the opportunity he's been given, and he has capitalized on it. So if you need help at the wide receiver position, Cadarius Tony would be the top priority for me this week. I also expect that the Giants will be throwing the ball a lot more with Saquon Barkley out of the lineup, not leaning on Devonte Booker as much. So that is obviously great for all of the receivers if there is going to be more passing volume in this offense. Now, can't get your hands on Cadarius Tony. The other wide receiver I would be looking at this week is Delmore of the Arizona Cardinals, currently rostered in just under 40% of leagues, just hit the cut at 39.1% of leagues he is rostered in. Now, he's still out here for us, right? And this is a good time to jump on Delmore. Like I just said with Cadarius Tony, when we see a receiver, a rookie in general, but more so with the receivers than anyone else, getting more involved week in and week out or starting to establish a role, that is when you want to target them. Now, he's had a couple down weeks before week 5, but he did see 6 targets here in week 5 against San Francisco, and he's starting to see a little bit of work in the rushing game. So he's looking like they're going to kind of use him in a kind of gadgety role, a Curtis Samuel-esque role as a receiver, but also using him a little bit in the run game. Little Curtis Samuel, Robert Woods type of game here from Delmore, and we love to see that. We could see a little bit of uptick in volume moving forward here for Delmore, and that is obviously great. He might be a little bit boom or busty, but I definitely think he is worth rostering because the upside is very, very high in a very potent offense run by Kyler Murray. He's got Cleveland next week, but then after that, he has 2 good matchups against Houston and Green Bay. Go out, get your hands on Delmore this week before he is no longer available in your league. So if you need help at wide receiver, we're looking at Cadarius Tony and Delmore. It's a toss-up, whoever you like more. I think I might actually like Cadarius Tony a little bit more right now, but really at the end of the day, it's a flip of a coin if you ask me. Now, moving on over to the tight end position, the player I want to talk about is Hunter Henry of the New England Patriots, currently rostered in 35.7% of leagues. Now, Hunter Henry has had 5+ targets each of the last 3 games. It seems like he's starting to develop some chemistry with Mac Jones here in New England. He started off the season a little bit slowly, but we know how talented Hunter Henry is. So if he's going to be seeing volume consistently on a week-to-week basis, somewhere in that 5 to 7 target range, tight ends, it's really tough anyways. Anyone that has a pulse is worth a shot. And it seems like Hunter Henry has a pulse, maybe a little bit more. Like I said, the volume is starting to get there. He's starting to develop some chemistry with Mac Jones. Now he has Dallas and the New York Jets in the next two. Dallas, I expect that to be a game where the Patriots have to throw the ball a lot because Dallas is a potent offense. And in the case of the New York Jets, it is a divisional matchup. So these are two games where you can take Hunter Henry right off the waiver wire, slot him into your lineup right away, and hope for the best. I expect the volume to continue to be relatively consistent, like I mentioned, somewhere in that 5 to 7 target range with the upside to boom in that 8 to 10 target kind of range if it is a game script that calls for a lot of passing volume. So if you need help at tight end, Hunter Henry is going to be my top priority at tight end this week. Now it's time to move on to our DST stream of the week. And I am going with my boys, the Miami Dolphins, baby. Fins up. Going with the Dolphins, currently rostered in 17.6% of leagues. Listen, I know Brady worked the Dolphins in week 5. Listen, I'm used to it at this point. I'm used to it. It happens. It is what it is. But do not fret. Don't fret. Start the Dolphins DST with confidence this week. They have a matchup against Jacksonville. Jacksonville has 11 turnovers through the first 5 weeks. This team is struggling. Trevor Lawrence has been sacked 8 times in these first 5 weeks. This is a great opportunity for this Dolphins defense to bounce back. I expect the Dolphins to probably win this game. I expect Jacksonville to be throwing the ball a lot. Miami has a very, very strong secondary, so hopefully they can capitalize, get to Trevor Lawrence, get some sacks, grab an interception, maybe a fumble recovery, whatever it may be. If you need to stream a defense here in week 6, I would be looking to go out and get my hands on the Dolphins defense. Now, moving on from our DST stream of the week, we're going to hop on over to the deep sleepers portion. And for the most part, this is players. Actually, no, it is. All players rostered in 10% or less of leagues. I did want to throw something out there. I did it last week, but I just want to put it out there that with quarterback, it's a little tough to find guys rostered in 10% of lesser leagues. So we're going to make a little exception there, and we're going to go with players rostered in 15% of league or less of leagues because a lot of fantasy players, fantasy managers like to roster 2 quarterbacks apparently. Personally, I'm not one to do that, but clearly based on roster percentages, a lot of managers roster 2 quarterbacks. So we will make an exception. But this week, you don't have to worry about it because my stream of the week is going to be Carson Wentz for deeper leagues, currently rostered in 5.5% of leagues. He had a huge, huge game last night against the Ravens, throwing for over 400 yards and 2 touchdowns. People are talking that smack, saying that the Colts offense is not explosive. They are a slow team, whatever it is. And Carson Wentz said, "Shut your hole. Shut it." He said, "Shut it." Proved everyone wrong. That was a very, very competitive game. The Ravens ended up clutching up. Thank God. I needed that so very bad. But now Carson Wentz is coming off of back-to-back solid games. He has matchups again. He has an easy matchup, next week against Houston as well. So this is a time to go out and get Carson Wentz. I expect for the Colts to come out gunslinging, smashing on the Texans. I expect the Colts to win this game. It's obviously a very easy matchup. So if you need to stream the quarterback position in a deeper league, you can't get your hands on Heineke. I do like Carson Wentz a lot here in week 6. But moving on over to some running backs. First off, we have Jerick McKinnon of the Kansas City Chiefs, currently rostered in 0.7% of leagues. Now, running back's a little tough here this week. Honestly, the waivers as a whole this week are not super exciting, or I should say it's more top heavy. But like I mentioned with Daryl Williams, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to miss some time moving forward. We did see Jerick McKinnon on the field on some passing down, so if you're in a deeper league, a PPR league, Jerick McKinnon is a guy that I do think is at least worth a shot. We know the Chiefs are going to throw the ball a lot. They are a pass-first offense. So having the third down back on this team, if that's going to be the case, I mean, it could end up where him and Daryl Williams are kind of splitting third down work as well, but it's at least worth a shot here. So if you need help at the running back position, you're in a deeper league, I would be looking at Jerick McKinnon here in week 6. But there is one other running back that I would probably be prioritizing over Jerick McKinnon, even in deeper leagues, because he's still available. I said it last week. He was in the deep sleepers last week. I try not to kind of do the same players 2 weeks in a row, but I feel like I have to talk about Khalil Herbert of the Chicago Bears, currently only rostered in 4.7% of leagues. I did mention him last week, like I said, but running back is very, very thin. It is very, very thin. I think that Khalil Herbert in a deeper league should be your top priority. You should go get him. They saw split opportunities this week. Each of them saw 18 opportunities. The only difference was that Damian Williams scored. Damian Williams was getting the passing down work, but Khalil Herbert actually out-carried Damian Williams 18-16. He was actually more productive with the work he got. Where Damian Williams went 16 for 64, Khalil Herbert went 18 for 75. So I expect to see a similar split going forward because Khalil Herbert was successful with the opportunities that he had, averaging over 4 yards per attempt. And if he's the one that scores a touchdown on a week, then all of a sudden you have a good flex option in a deeper league. If he's going to be seeing somewhere in that, 13 to 15 opportunities, I don't expect him to be getting 18 to 20 carries week in and week out. The Bears are probably not going to be in game scripts that call for that. But if you start seeing a little bit of passing down work, you get some goal line opportunities, then all of the sudden you have a guy you can slot in your flex in these next few weeks with David Montgomery out of the lineup. So if you need help at running back, you're in a deeper league, I would be prioritizing Khalil Herbert first, but Jerick McKinnon in PPR leagues is also a good option playing in that Kansas City Chiefs offense. Now, moving on to wide receiver, I only got one player here for you guys this week in deeper leagues. It's going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown of the Detroit Lions, currently rostered in 4.3% of leagues. Now, this is just standard at this point. We just do this every week. This is just a weekly pick up a Giants receiver, right? We've had Quintez Cephas. We've had Khalif Raymond. Now we got Amon-Ra. But no, seriously, Amon-Ra. Now is the time to do this. Now is the time to go out and get Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm going to tell you why right now. Quintez Cephas is likely out for the season. So there's going to be more opportunity in this offense. Amon-Ra is going to see the field more often. Now, he only exceeded 5 targets in the first 3 weeks of the season, but he's seen 8 targets each of the last 2 weeks. And like I mentioned, with Cadarius Tony, with Rondale Moore, like we've been saying since the offseason, this is when you want to hop on these wide receivers. When they start solidifying their role in the offense with these rookies, when they're getting more comfortable, they're getting more involved week in and week out. And Amon-Ra has a big opportunity here with Quintez Cephas out, likely at least out for the season. Now is the time to go out and get Amon-Ra. He should see more opportunity in an offense that is going to have to throw the ball a lot because they're going to be playing from behind more often than not. He is definitely better in PPR formats because he plays in kind of a slot role. So the yardage isn't there as much. He's not as much of a big play guy, but he's going to see the volume. If he's going to see the volume, he's going to get you 5-6 catches a week for 50, 60 yards, throwing a touchdown every here and there. If you're in a deeper league, this is a guy you can put in your flex. He's not going to win you a week, but he is not going to lose you a week either. And you could do it right away. You could start him right away in week 6 as he has a matchup with the Bengals, which I expect to be a game that is relatively high scoring. Well, maybe not relatively high scoring, but there'll be a lot of passing volume. I expect the Bengals to get out to a lead early on and the Lions to have to throw the ball. So if you need help at wide receiver, you're in a deeper league, I'm looking at Amon-Ra St. Brown of the Detroit Lions. Now, moving on to our last player here, we have a tight end for y'all, and it is David Najoku of the Cleveland Browns, currently rostered at 1.6% of leagues. Tight ends. You got a pulse, you get put in the waivers. You get put in the waiver wire target video if you got a pulse at tight end. David Najoku, man, what a week. Wish I did a David Najoku prop. Me and one of my buddies, we did a lot of David Najoku props in the past. We've done a lot. 100-plus yards in a touchdown, usually great odds. Wish I did one last week because I'd be in a pretty good spot here in going into week 6. But unfortunately, I did not. But David Najoku last week, 7 targets, 7 catches, 149 yards, and a touchdown. Wow-wee. Now, this Browns receiving core is a little questionable anyways. Jarvis Landry is out. Odell has been kind of like, meh, whatever. We've seen Rashad Higgins, Donovan Peoples-Jones, a little, not so much of Austin Hooper, but David Najoku was the leading receiver on his team by a long shot this week. So I think it's at least worth a shot if you need help in a deeper league. He is a first-round talent. He did see an opportunity this week. So it's just kind of, if you need tight end, you're looking for anything. You got a guy that got 7 catches for 150 and a touchdown. Might as well take a shot, right? So that's kind of how I feel about Najoku. Do I feel very confident about him being able to put up even similar numbers week in and week out? No. But after such a big game with the draft capital they have invested in him, I figure they'll at least put him on the field a little bit more. Maybe Baker Mayfield kind of at least gives him a little bit more of an opportunity. If he's going to get, somewhere in that 4 to 6 targets a week range, whatever. We're just throwing a dot here. We're throwing a dot. If it doesn't work out, you just cut him and go on to the next tight end the next week. So those are my waiver wire targets here for week 6 of the 2021 fantasy football season. I hope y'all did enjoy this here video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Help me reach my goal of 500 subscribers on YouTube by the end of the fantasy football season. I would really, really appreciate it. You can go ahead, start early, drop your start-sit comments on start-sit questions in the comment section below or on Instagram, on Twitter, wherever it may be. I'll leave the links to my socials down in the description below. Follow me over there. I really, really appreciate it. Make sure to share this shit. Sorry, YouTube. I swore. I do apologize. I won't do it again, I promise. Let's pretend that never happened. We're trying to become a family-friendly channel here if you're new. If you're new, we're trying to become family-friendly. But anyways, share this video, the channel, with your friends, family, whoever. Help the channel to grow. Let's go for the gusto. Let's hit that 500 subscriber marker by the end of the fantasy football season. But that is it. That is all. That is all there is. I am done for today. Me, my boy, we are out. We will catch y'all next time. And as always, thank you, love you, peace.